Tough time for the blacks. These are not good times for the blacks. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, right? Police are killing us again. It's a very unfortunate set of circumstances because we were doing very well. You know, America has a racial hot seat. I think we can all agree that that's the truth. And we can also agree that that hot seat is traditionally occupied by African Americans in general, African American men in particular. Although I can see that in recent years, that seat has been occupied by Mexicans, and I dare say Arabs. And we, the black Americans, would like to thank you both for your sacrifice and your struggle. We needed a break. We needed a goddamn break. We all go through something, but at least I can leave my backpack someplace. If you Arab and forget your backpack, you got about 20 minutes before they send that robot to blow your shit up. Fuhad. Now ISIS is #1 on the terrorist charts. And ISIS is fucking scary. Because if ISIS catches you, they're going to cut your head off. That's what they do. I've seen them do it on YouTube. It was fucking awful. He looked right in the camera and say, "Obama, I am back." I saw that shit. I said, oh my God. Don't like. How is this guy cutting people's heads off on YouTube? I can't even post a dick pic, and this motherfucker is decapitating people. I'm gonna have to change my settings. You know, everyone has it hard, but I think harder than black people and harder than Arabs and harder than Mexicans, you know who has it the worst? Fat black people. It's hard for white people to understand, but that's what I'm saying is very true. Fat black people have a really rough road, because all manner of things kill white people, but you know what kills more black people than anything, more than police and terrorism? Salt, nigga, regular. Here, white people are getting Ebola cures and shit, and meanwhile, I'm dying from fucking the flavoring. Look, honestly, I'll stop talking about it. Let me say this, though. Let me just say this. Can we all just say that we've seen it coming? Were you surprised? It's like when that guy threw that banana at me. Do you think I was surprised? Hell no. I've been in show business 30 years. I was expecting this banana. I knew one of these nights, it's like somebody gonna throw a banana at me one of these nights, niggas. Because that's how it starts, with the name calling. Like that Paula Deen. Remember Paula Deen got fired from the Food Network? If you know anything about show business, it is really hard to get fired from the fucking Food Network. And they dropped that bitch like a hot potato. All because she called somebody an N-word 30 years before she had a show. I don't know who she said it to, but whoever it was just looking at her like, I'm gonna get you for this bitch. That shit came back 30 years later like a Bill Cosby rape and sunk her battleship. And every black person was mad, but we weren't like that mad. I was just like, well, how's this bitch gonna call me a nigga when she taught me how to fry chicken? That's not fair. I think Donald Sterling shit was more serious. Remember Donald Sterling? He used to own the Clippers, and then he got caught on a secretly recorded tape saying some very unsavory things about African Americans. And there's a lesson in that for all of us. The lesson is, if you are old and white and racist in this great country, whatever you do, don't tell your black girlfriend about that shit, because that's who made the tape. She recorded all that shit, and the tape was terrible. He was like, stop bringing these black guys to my games. first we're all confused, like, well, how the fuck are you gonna have a game without us? But it turned out that the black guy he was speaking of was none other than Magic Johnson, the billionaire. Unbelievable. Never even mentioned the fact that he had AIDS, which is... This guy must be really racist if AIDS is the footnote. Well, you gotta be careful, baby. He got the old Ebola. You can say what you want about that girl, but I'm gonna tell you right now, she is a goddamned hero. Because you might have thought these things were happening before, but now you can see it all in front of you without a shadow of a doubt. That shit actually went down. She sucked that old guy's dick. She really took one for the team on that one. It's really gross. This dick is like 80 years old. It's like tasting history. Like 5 wars on it, civil rights movement, Great Depression. This guy's been fucking from 40 years before Bill Cosby's first rape. This is a very old man. It's a very old penis. But all that shit is still, it's just name calling. Like, name calling does not break the modern black man. That's not gonna do the trick. I don't give a fuck about that. Like, if I went to Kentucky Fried Chicken, Ku Klux Klan, hood on top of their head, what do you think I'm gonna do in this day and age? Run out of Kentucky Fried Chicken? Not if I'm hungry. I'll go straight to the front. Hey, man, let me get a 2-piece. I don't give a fuck what he says. You want a biscuit with that, nigger? I thought it came with a biscuit. What's all this attitude? I want a 2-piece. Chop, chop. You know what it is. But I'm not gonna be mad. Why would I be mad? He's the one that's gotta work at Kentucky Fried Chicken, not me. Well, how about this? What if I lived in Austin and I had a white girlfriend? It's possible in Austin. As a matter of fact, some people say it's necessary, but that's not the point. And me and my white girlfriend at home one night and we're just doing what lovers do. Maybe she's butt naked and she's down on one knee giving me a hand job. I love a good hand job. And she's really jerking me off. You know, getting her obliques nice and tight. I got a huge dick, so she's like, And I'm like, wow, this really feels wonderful. I think I'm gonna come. Nigger. I know, that's a tough one. But what do you think I'm gonna do? Hey! That's no time for integrity, ladies and gentlemen. I'm busting that nut in her face. I'll sort through the ethics later. But I'm what they call a man of his word. If I say I'm coming, oh, I'm coming. I don't give a fuck what happens. God forbid somebody could shoot me. If I say I'm coming, it's still that. Oh. Doesn't mean I like getting shot. Boy. Yeah, tough time for the blacks. I'm not gonna say nothing about the police. I'll leave that for Chris Rock. And now we get to the core of the crisis. What is a woman? What is that in this day and time? Is there even such thing as a woman or a man or anything? Seems to be a question nowadays. Now listen, women get mad at me. Gay people get mad at me, lesbians get mad at me, but I'm gonna tell you right now, and this is true, these transgenders, these niggas want me dead. I've gone too far, I've said too much. And I gotta tell you, I'm very worried about it, I'm not even joking. Every time I come out on stage, I be scared. I be looking around the crowd, searching for knuckles and Adam's apples to see where the threats might be coming from. Oh. A nigga came up to me on the street the other day. He said, "Careful, Dave, they after you." I said, "What?" One they or many theys? Before I even say anything about that community, you must know, and I hope you all feel the same way, I am not indifferent to the suffering of someone else. There's laws, the mean laws in our country. North Carolina passed a law once that said a person in North Carolina must use the restroom that corresponds with the gender they were assigned on their birth certificate. No. No, that's not a good law. That's a mean law. No American should have to present a birth certificate to take a shit at Walmart in Greensboro, North Carolina, where the baby shot and killed a motherfucker. You have to ask yourself, if you're thinking about it, who are these laws designed to protect? Like, let's say they designed this law to protect me, my interests. Transphobic comedian Dave Chappelle. And let's say that I'm in Walmart doing a little shopping with my family. Now, I should tell you, if that ever happens in real life, you should know that my dreams didn't work out. But let's say something goes horribly wrong, and there I am in Walmart with the poor whites rummaging around for mediocre goods and services. And then I gotta go to the restroom. So I excuse myself from my family. I go to the men's room. Now I'm standing at the urinal taking a leak. And this is what this law is gonna do. And suddenly, a woman walks into the men's room. I'm gonna be like, that's strange. And then she stands shoulder to shoulder with me at the urinal. I'm gonna be like, bitch, what's going on with you? And then she hikes her skirt up and pulls a real live, meaty dick out. And what do you think I'm gonna say? Thank God she's in here with me. At least now I know my family's safe. No, I'm not gonna feel that way at all. I'm gonna feel very uncomfortable. I would feel better if it was a man with a vagina who backed up to the urinal next to me. I wouldn't even think about that. I'd just be like, that's funny. This guy is peeing out of his butt for some reason. Oh my God, he must be a veteran. Thank you for your service. Mom. You have no idea what I put this woman through. If you had just given birth to me, that would have been more than enough. But the fact that you raised me and raised me well, we had a real oral tradition in our house. I knew the word griot when I was a little boy. A griot was a person in Africa who was charged with keeping the stories of the village. Everyone would tell a griot the stories, and they would remember them all so that they could tell future generations. And when they got old, they'd tell them to someone else. And they say in Africa, when a griot dies, it's like a library was burnt down. And my mother used to tell me, before I ever thought about doing comedy, she said, you should be a griot. And she'd fill me with every story of black life. You know, she's educated in African American studies, and she would let me understand the context that I was being raised in. That I'm being raised in a hostile environment that I have to tame. By the time I was 14 years old, I was in nightclubs, mastering an adult world. It was terrifying. The crack epidemic was going on, and my mother would hear gunshots outside and be scared to death. Maybe it's my son. But early in my career, if you remember, Mom, you used to sit in the club with me. She'd do a full day of work. You'd be back there falling asleep, just waiting for me to go on. She would watch my show every night. Do you know how long that car ride is home? How many of you have ever heard your mother say, pussy jokes were a little too much tonight, son? I was a soft kid. I was sensitive, I'd cry easy, and I would be scared to fist fight. And my mother used to tell me this thing, I don't even know if you remember, but you said this to me more than once. You said, son, sometimes you have to be a lion so you can be the lamb you really are.
What is happening in Hollywood that a guy that tough will be on the street waving a gun, screaming, they are trying to kill me?
Yeah.
What's going on? Why is Dave Chappelle going to Africa? Why does Mariah Carey make a $100 million deal and take her clothes off on TRL? A weak person cannot get to sit here and talk to you. Ain't no weak people talking to you. So what is happening in Hollywood? Nobody knows. The worst thing to call somebody is crazy, is dismissive. I don't understand this person, so they're crazy. That's bullshit. These people are not crazy. They're strong people. Maybe the environment is a little sick.
I gotta tell you something, and I don't talk about it often. Have you ever worked all your life for something and have it not work out? That happened to me. It was tough. Think about it. I was gone for 12 years. It's not a little bit of time. It was hell. I watched other niggas that I knew become very famous. I watched the world go on without me. I mourned the loss of it, and after a while, I didn't care. Coming back was terrifying. I understand what I am. I really do, more than anybody. Like when they write about me in history, I'll be dead reading it like, yeah, I knew they'd say that. I swear to God, this might be the noblest of professions. Robin Williams had a bar that I loved. He said, comedy is the only job you can have where you can use everything you know. And that's true. You can use more than you know. You can use what you think. Use it. Don't be afraid. Don't let these bitch-ass niggas button your lip.
I watched one of these nature shows one time, and they were talking about how a bushman finds water when it's scarce. And they do what's called a salt trap. I didn't know this. Apparently baboons love salt.
Okay.
So they put a lump of salt in a hole, and they wait for the baboon. The baboon comes, sticks his hand in the hole, grabs the salt makes his hand bigger, and he's trapped. He can't get his hand out. Now, if he's smart, all he does is let go of the salt. Baboon doesn't want to let go of the salt. Then the bushman just comes, takes the baboon, throws him in the cage, and gives him all the salt he wants. And then the baboon gets thirsty. The bushman lets him out of the cage. The first place the baboon runs to is water. The bushman follows him, and they both drink to their fill. And in that analogy, I felt like the baboon. But I was smart enough to let go. I think that America needs an honest discourse with itself. It's like the greatest country in the world by default. You know what I mean? But we could actually be the greatest country that ever existed if we were just honest about who we are and what we are and where we want to go, and if we learn how to have that discourse. Things like racism are institutionalized. It's systemic. You might not know any bigots. You feel like, well, I don't hate black people, so I'm not a racist. But you benefit from racism just by merit of the color of your skin. There's opportunities that you have. You're privileged in ways that you may not even realize because you haven't been deprived in certain ways. We need to talk about these things in order for them to change. I do the show. I walk down the street, black people like it, white people, the generations, it doesn't matter, because it needs to be talked about. It's like the elephant in the living room that nobody says anything about. So when the Bigsby thing came out, there was a lady from Texas that called Comedy Central, I mean, damn near 100 times. She was furious with me. I wasn't mad at her for being mad at me. It's like, okay, that's good, you know. Not good that she's mad at me, but she's entitled to her opinion. And maybe she's right. I don't know. I just thought it was funny. That's what I did. I'm a comedian, man. That's how I look at the world, and that's what I'm spitting out. So I don't judge people or not like people for thinking. People that I love tell me I go too far sometimes. Maybe I went too far, but I did it. And plus, the only way you know where the line is to cross it. And I think that what is life if nobody's crossing the line? You just want to try to be on the right side of history, and sometimes what's going on in the immediate present is not as important as the long term. The truth is permanent, and then everything else falls by the wayside.
I want to say, and one thing today just made me think about, for all the things that I've done, I'm most renowned for what I didn't do. I've made decisions in my career that a lot of people have called insane. 2004, had a $50 million deal on the table, and in a crisis of conscience, flipped the table over and walked away. Went to South Africa. Everyone said I was running away from the money. That is not true. In fact, I still want that money. The idea that I wanted to just share with you guys is the idea that sometimes you do what you think is best, whether anybody understands it or not. I heard a story about my father where someone told me he used to do statistics for a company in D.C. The company he did statistics for started doing business with the South African government, so he quit his job. It's caused a lot of problems between him and his wife. It's hard for a man when he can't provide for his family the way he wants to, and he suffered through it. And a generation later, when I had my crisis of conscience, I was able to go to a free South Africa and get away from the heat. This idea that what you do in your lifetime informs the generations that comes after you is something I keep thinking about, something that is so much bigger than just ourselves. And today I'm standing in front of you guys, and I know you guys are like, oh, I know you're bored. But I see family of mine in the front row some who I've never met, and I just realize how all of us are connected. That my great-grandfather built something more substantial than buildings. He built a community, and he built, more importantly than a community, he built a way. So I'm very grateful. Very grateful. Hello, police. I just saw him saying, what I mean. He's standing over like, so this is what black people talk about. I just want you guys to remember, that right now there's this thing where ethics aren't what they used to be. This idea that people are trying to replace the ideas of good and bad with better or worse, and that is incorrect. You gotta keep your ethics intact because good and bad is a compass that helps you find the way. And a person that only does what's better or worse is the easiest type of person to control. They are a mouse in a maze that just finds the cheese. But the one who knows about good and bad will realize that he's in a maze. So, that being said, I just hope that all of you guys transcend whatever you see as your obstacles, and that you live outstanding lives, and that you stay connected to your communities because you have so much power there, and that you grow your communities and you diversify your communities, and that you don't let anybody tell you you can't or to be afraid. It's okay to be afraid because you can't be brave or courageous without fear. The idea of being courageous is that even though you're scared, you just do the right thing anyway. So in 2004, I walked away from $50 million, and in November, I made a deal for $60 million. So, Although I am not the most famous comedian of my time, I would like to know what their great-grandfathers did. I'm very proud today. Thank you very much. Don't forget who I am. Don't forget what I am. I am a black dude. And don't ever forget how I got here. My ancestors were kidnapped. I don't even know where the fuck I'm from. They were put on the bottom of boats. They sailed them across the Atlantic. Many of them died. Only the strongest survived. And once they got here, they beat the humanity out of my people. They turned us into beasts of burdens. They made us do their work. And the irony is, hundreds of years later, they called us lazy. We fought in the Civil War. We damn near freed ourselves. Then in Reconstruction, black people did great. My great-grandfather was a very wealthy man. But then the black coats came, Jim Crow came, and it was 100 years of unspeakable oppression again. Lynchings, all kinds of terroristic acts to keep us in the margins of society. And yet we still fought. And Dr. King was born. And then things got better. 20 years after Dr. King was assassinated, Michael Jackson was moonwalking on television. Something, 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 Barack Obama. Donald Trump, and now here we all are. 400-year nightmare. Took us 400 years to figure out as a people that white people's weakness the whole time was kneeling during their national anthem. That's a brittle spirit. That's right, nigga. On the rock, it's regular. Ah! Ah! What are you doing, nigga? Stand up! The Vice President of the United States got involved. Mike Pence got involved. He went to the game himself. These niggers will have to stand when they see me. And all them football players looked up in the stands and saw Mike Pence and said, Mike Pence, come on, y'all. Wu-Tang. Bow! Oh! Foiled. Brittle spirit. I could kill every white person in America at one time. You know how I'd do it? I would just wait for the Super Bowl. And right when they sang the national anthem, I'd have O.J. Simpson walk to the 50-yard line with them bad knees. Is that O.J. Simpson on the field? What the hell is he doing here? Oh, I know what he's gonna do. Stop him!
A friend of mine was at my house, and I told him I'm going to do stand-up again. And he said, really? And I said, yeah, I was hoping for more of a really, but it was really. And I said, yes, why? And he said, well, do you think you're still relatable? I said, yes, I do think I'm still relatable. I'm a human being. And he said, well, I mean, your life has changed so much. And I said, I know, but I still think I'm relatable. And anyway, just then, Batu, my butler, stepped into the library. So I'm sitting in the solarium, eating my breakfast, and I was on my third or fourth bite of cube pineapple that Batu was feeding me. And I said, Batu, I'm not hungry. I've lost my appetite. My friend has really upset me by what he said. And he said, well, then I shall draw you a bath, ma'am. And I said, you don't have to announce it all the time, just draw the bath. So I'm sitting in the tub, and I'm looking out the window at the rose garden, and Tatiana was tending to the roses, and I knocked, ma'am. And anyway, I get out of the tub, and Batu had forgotten to put the towel next to the tub again. And so I had to do that bath mat scoot all the way across the bathroom to get to the towel. And it's a big, you can imagine how big the bathroom is. It's like I'm doing the bath mat scoot. And then I stopped, and I was like, oh my God, this is relatable.
I came home early from the road. I had a $12,000 suit on, because life's been going good. And I got home early, and dinner was cooking. You ever come home when dinner's cooking? Doesn't that smell good? And my son saw me, and he was like, Dad's home. And he got up from the table and ran over to give me a hug, but he had chicken grease all over his face. So I stiffed on him like, yo, my man. Wash these threads, son. This is an expensive suit. I don't want you to get the chicken grease all over me. And he was like, what the chicken grease? Dad, this is duck. A tear came out of my eyes. I never dreamt I'd do so well in life that I'd raise a nigga with duck grease all over his face.
I know my life has changed drastically, but it wasn't always like that. And the reason I'm telling you this, as a famous person, you sort of read about yourself, you know, gossip and, you know, Twitter and everything. And one thing kept cropping up, even when I was preparing for this tour, people saying, oh, he's out of touch. He's so famous, he's rich, he's mega rich. I am. I could have this place burnt down for a laugh. No, but they say things like, oh, he's an observational comedian. How can he say things that relate to ordinary scum? And I say, don't call them scum, right? But even the papers, they try and get around to it. I do interviews, and they'll always be able to say, oh, do you always fly first class? I go, no, often private. Right? And the number of times I've answered this question, right? They say, do you know how much a pint of milk is? It was meant to make you look out of touch, and I don't know, but that's irrelevant, right? Next time a journalist asks me that, I'm gonna say, I don't know, mate, but here's £1,000. Run and get me one, will you? Is that enough? Is that enough? Yeah.
I give all married men the same advice, gay or straight. Get a dog. This dog will love you all the time, but she's not going to. It's real talk. I didn't even know about dogs, and my kids got the dog. They brought him home from the shelter, and I didn't even want him. They were like, can we keep him? I said, nope. I said, where did you even get this dog? They're like, we got him from the shelter. I was like, ugh. Probably something wrong with him. Can't keep him. And then my kids started crying and screaming like the dog had gambling debts. Please, Dad, if you don't let us keep him, they're gonna kill him. I was like, oh. All right, you can keep him. And this dog was a menace. I hated his guts. Then one night I'd smoked a bunch of weed, and I was eating a sandwich, and Baba came over. Baba's the dog. He came over and was staring at me. This will make you very uncomfortable if you're just looking at you usually. I had to give him a piece of my sandwich so he'd go away. And that's how we became friends. Now, if you see me walking down the street with Baba, I ain't got no leash or nothing. He walks right next to me. If I stop, he'll stop. And if I go, he'll go. And all my friends are like, yo, Dave, that shit is dope. How you train Baba to do that shit? I've never trained Baba. I'm just a messy eater. If I drop food and Baba's not around, all I gotta do is call him. Baba! He's a black dude's dog, so he doesn't come right away. He peeks first to see what's going on. I gotta tap my foot so he can see the food. Over here, little buddy. And he's like, thanks, Dave. He'll come get it and run off. But he knows all my habits. Like, if he smells weed in the house, he'll be like, nah, this motherfucker's about to eat. And he'll just come running. Baba got me through a very difficult time in my marriage. We spend the most time together. Like, it's not that me and my wife don't spend time together, but we've been married so long, it's like we don't talk like, I don't know if anyone's married here, but if after 10 years, all that chatty shit goes away. You've said it all. You know what I mean? It's just, yeah, we're just in the zone. She says the same shit to me every night before she goes to bed. I'll be the last one up. She's like, I'm gonna get some sleep, Dave. Good night. All right, babe, I'm gonna stay up and watch television. Good night. And she'll walk halfway up the steps. David? Don't eat the kids' lunch. And then she walks away. Well, the crazy shit is I don't even eat their lunch anymore. Back in the day, I used to eat that shit. You know how that goes. I might smoke some weed in the middle of the night and she'll leave neatly wrapped sandwiches all over the kitchen. I'm gonna eat it. What's the big deal? Why can't she just make another one in the morning? I mean, it's like, I got sons anyway. And sons love everything their dads do. My kids will be at school the next day, just look like, oh, Dad bit my sandwich. Oh, shit! Their dad is Dave Chappelle, man. You could trade that sandwich for something better. What I'm doing is adding value to their lunch. Americans generally respect one another's beliefs, even if they don't share those beliefs. I know I do. I respect everybody's beliefs except Amish people. Because they are the only ones that I can say clearly their God is wrong. The speed limit is 75 miles an hour in Ohio, and one lane of traffic is blocked by a goddamn horse and buggy. Nigga, your God is ridiculous. All the Amish people around my way know me, too. Not from television, obviously. They know me from the streets. Because when I see them horse and buggies, I'll pull the Porsche over and talk to them. Ezekiel. Ezekiel, are you sure that God doesn't want you to have any of this technology or this energy? Huh? Huh? I can't hear you, nigga. Let me turn this air conditioner off. What did you say? And them niggas be like, get away from me, ye. Ye tried to tempt me like the devil. Devil? Nah, bro, I'm trying to put you on to the game, Zeke. It's a big world out here, nigga. I just went 25 miles in 30 minutes. That's a day's journey for you. You don't even know what the weather's gonna be tomorrow, do you? I do. You don't even know that there's a valuable Pokemon right on your shoulder. Beep, ta-ta. Then I drive away. Huh? Oh, my vape pen? You want to hit my vape pen? Oh, sorry, nigga, I'm trying not to get herpes. My bad. I've been playing cat and mouse with herpes for 30 years now, buddy. Every night I go to the club, I'll be like, not tonight, herpes. No disrespect, I'm not saying you have herpes, I'm just saying 1 out of 5 people do. So let's just all be careful around this motherfucker and make sure that we leave with the lips we came with. Kevin, what you've achieved in your career is not even scratching the surface of who you are. You are very, not only deserving of this award, but people don't understand what you've done to the business. Do you know how many tickets you've sold since you started doing concerts? I called and checked. I know too. 500 million. 500 million people watch this man stand in front of him and make him laugh Kevin is one of the greatest comedians that I've ever seen. And Kevin is one of the greatest men that I've ever known. Hello, Jerry. You bring joy to our environment. People don't know all the things that comedians go through and how difficult, how heavy it is to wear the crown. But man, I swear to God, you do it with so much grace, so much kindness. Man, I know every story of all the comedians that you help out. I know how you go back to Philadelphia and support your neighborhood. And I know that inside you feel awful sometimes, but I've never seen it on your face, and I've never felt it in your presence. And I am honored to know somebody like you. I really wish you would have come when I won this award.
This is not legislation.
Right.
These are jokes by someone who doesn't read.
What a Joke with Papa and Fortune on Netflix is a Joke Radio.
Welcome back, everybody, to What a Joke with Papa and Fortune. I'm Tom Papa.
I'm Fortune Feimster.
And we're very excited because our good friend, great comedian, Bill Burr is with us right now. His new special, Paper Tiger, is streaming on Netflix. It's his 6th special, and I have to say, it's your best special.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
I will pay you after this segment for saying that. That's exactly what every comedian wants to hear.
It was, congratulations.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I'm very
Job
proud
well
of it.
done.
You know, so much of it is the way Mike Binder shot the thing. And Mike Binder is former stand-up comedian. Now he directs and everything. And I got a chance to work with him, I don't even know, 4 or 5 years ago on a movie called Black or White. And we just kind of became, buddies via cigars and stuff,
We hung out at his office that night, remember?
Oh, that's right. That's right. Okay, cool. So you know all the backstory. So then, I don't know, one night we were having a cigar, and I was just talking to him about, what I wanted my special to look like. And I was thinking of maybe doing it in London. I wasn't sure, because there's always that extra added pressure. What if they're not going to like it? And I wasted 2.5 years on the road and that type of stuff. And then he was going, and then it all came down to me and Mike wanted to hang in London and smoke a cigar.
I was thinking about that, though. That is kind of was that a risky decision? I mean, to do, because you have your special and it totally pays off. It works. But I was remarking when I was watching that a lot of like local references, very, American political comments, like little subtle things that you would think maybe they're not going to get or wouldn't really be into, they totally were.
Yeah, because there's two things that are going on. It's like Netflix and podcasting are global.
Right.
So what's going, like if I said all of that shit that I said that night to everybody in London, there would be a lot of people going, I don't know what this guy's talking about. But what shows up are the 1,500 people in a country that are into you.
Right.
So they listen to the podcast,
So
they're up on what you're doing, they kind of know your sense of humor. So that's so people go, how the hell can you go to this country?
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't need to have the whole country show up. I'm playing an 800-seater. I just need 800.
Just come to this show.
Yeah, 800 people out of all of these millions to show up. I'm not playing like,
How it's Prince Albert Hall?
Royal Albert
Hall.
Yes.
So beautiful.
Yes, and I had actually got to play there a year before I did the special, which was a great thing because it was such a, I play drums as a hobby, and John Bonham is my favorite drummer, and my favorite Led Zeppelin footage is from Royal Albert Hall.
Right.
So the first time I did it, I couldn't get past, like, I'm standing where Robert Plant stood, and John Bonham was right there. So the whole time I did my show that night, I couldn't quite get out of my head.
Right.
It was an unbelievably humbling, honorable, like honored to be there.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. And the pressure on that one was because the first time I played there, there's definitely that, I'm here doing my shit and dick jokes like this. I don't. There's got to be some sort of blip that I somehow snuck in here. So you want to make sure that you do a good job. But no,
and you could tell at the end of it when you're like, "This has been the best 2 days of my life."
Oh yeah, I had a ball.
It seemed really genuine.
Oh, I had the best time. My I had a lot of family in there. My wife and my daughter was there. That's the picture in the end where I'm, hugging her.
Yeah.
And it was definitely, very, very proud of it. Very proud of it.
That was the one upsetting part of the special when you said you were talking about your daughter and that she's over 2 already.
Oh my gosh.
And I think
Really?
because we were going to like hang out with her every week.
Yeah.
And I think we've only seen her twice, and it was like a year ago. And I'm like, Cynthia was just like, we've got to see her. What are we doing?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know.
Has that changed your comedy at all, being a dad?
I made sure that it didn't on one level and then it did on another. I have watched comics become dads, and then they try to whitewash their past.
Right.
And start wearing sweaters and stuff, and it's just like, and then their fan base is just like, dude, I get it, you're a dad, but like, what am I watching, the Lawrence Welk show? What happened? What happened to the guy that I like? So on the other side was the overreaction to every joke that gets told now.
Right.
Kind of kept me sort of level, where I was just like,
what do you mean?
Well, I mean, I just felt like I was going a little bit further in some areas than I normally would have. I would have kind of pulled back on the stick, but now I'm just looking at it like, just because there's all of these it's not even a lot of people just going, you can't say this, and you can say that, and if you say this, we're going to erase you, or whatever the hell they say.
Yeah.
It's just like, my favorite quote that I saw this year out of anybody was, I was watching this interview on Tarantino, and I absolutely love his new movie. I've already seen it
it's
twice.
so great. I got
to see it a third time, because there's so many jokes you miss, because you're so blown away by the cars and all the performances and stuff. But he said he was talking about how when he was first starting making movies or somebody, people going, you can't do this, and you can't do that, you can't do this. And he was just like, wait a minute, I can do whatever the fuck I want to do. And it's just like, that's why I love your movies.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't love every single aspect every time, but I just love that there's a guy going, no, I'm going to do whatever I want to do and make what I want to make. And
well, that's what's so refreshing about this special. I mean, you come out and probably the most controversial stuff is in the first 20 minutes, probably.
There is no controversy.
But I mean,
it's all just
not
gassing shit up.
Yeah, but you're talking about stuff that people are uncomfortable talking about. Forget on television, just in life, like people like dealing with men and women and where we're at now, and kind of sussing out all of this Me Too. And
I know, but amongst your
out.
friends, you're not uncomfortable. Amongst your friends, you're just going, dude, what was that? That one made no fucking sense. And then another one will be like, oh, that guy's a piece of shit or something like that. But that you're not allowed to ever say, yeah, that one kind of seems like bullshit.
Right.
Because if you say that, then that becomes, you're part of the problem, and you're like
right.
I don't know what, a surrogate piece of shit or something.
People, like when people are saying you can't talk about this, you can't talk about that. And you just talked about all of it, but in this fun, funny way. Yeah. You just were being a comic.
And my job's to make jokes.
That's it. And that's that you come away and you're like, I almost felt like you reminded us that it's not the comedian's job to be on the right issue, or whether he believes it, or whether it's just to make us laugh. And there is a couple moments in it where you bring up a premise, the room goes quiet, and you plow through, and then everybody is bursting out laughing. And that really was like, oh, this is the point of comedy. It's not, this guy does not have to run for office. He doesn't have to be on the right issue. He just has to make us laugh.
You're not running for office?
No, this is not legislation.
Right.
These are jokes by someone who doesn't read. Okay, just everybody relax.
Yeah, people put so much on comedians.
I know.
Now I'm excited to be here. I am. It's very exciting to be doing stand-up outside of my own country. Yeah, no, not because of you. That's how it's become. Fucking U.S., everything's so goddamn, every fucking joke you tell. Well, what did you mean about that? I didn't go to the gym today. Are you calling me fat? I feel fucking triggered. Gotta fucking apologize to everybody. This is how screwed up my country is right now. You know Bryan Cranston, right? That dude did a movie. He played a quadriplegic, and people gave him shit. Being like, why is there an able-bodied person playing a quadriplegic? It's because it's called acting, you dumb fuck. See, if he was a quadriplegic playing a quadriplegic, that's not acting. that's just fucking laying there saying shit that someone else wrote.
You're still doing a lot of acting too, right?
You shot a big movie.
Yeah, I shot a Pete Davidson's big movie.
How did that go?
Well, I didn't get fired.
Oh, there you
Yeah,
Who knows?
big
I could
role.
still get cut out. You never know.
That's a big role.
It went great, and it was the first time I got to work with Judd Apatow, where I had I've worked with him in a more like distant way. Like I did Pete's show Crashing, because I think that comes out in June of next year. But I got to do an episode of The Mandalorian. Jon Favreau, the new Star Wars thing. I got to be in that. Yeah.
Oh my god.
What?
Yeah. This is a sports fan meathead who doesn't watch any sci-fi.
You're going to be in Star
I was
Wars?
about to say, I was like, are you a Star Wars?
No, you
fan?
know what this is like? This is like when Joe DeRosa met Joe Torre. He goes, yeah, I met this guy the other night. He was somehow connected with the Yankees because he was still, managing. He goes,
Oh, God.
it was Joe Tutelage.
Oh no.
I'm like, Torre? He goes, yeah. Is he like a big, he makes that face? Is he like a big guy? I was like, dude, I'm going to fucking strangle you.
I know, right?
I'm going to strangle you. Why?
He's like, I want to go buy vintage T-shirts.
Yeah, so he already went off on me for being in Star Wars, and I told him, I go, this is your payback for meeting Joe Torre.
Yeah.
All right, fair enough,
Oh
fair
my
enough.
God.
What did you do to you? What did you wear?
In what?
Star Wars.
I don't know that they are like.
That's very
Yeah.
secretive.
Yeah, this is like how much
man.
money's in the Federal Reserve. I don't think I'm allowed to say anything.
Yeah,
so.
all that Netflix money's
man,
gonna go out the
that's
window.
exciting.
If you look at the trailer, you see the back of my bald head for half a second.
Oh my god.
Oh, so you're not in a helmet.
I love it.
My head is a helmet. It would have been redundant. That's like a joke, a hat on a hat.
Oh, my God. That's
man.
exciting.
You're a busy guy, Bill.
Yes, I am.
What about F is for Family?
F is for Family. We're finishing up season 4.
Holy,
Ed-
4 already?
4 seasons?
Editing that, and that should be out sometime next year.
But for you, stand up will always be number one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
without
that's
a doubt.
Well, you're very generous with comics. I was talking to Tom about how when I was early on at the Comedy Store, you were so good to me and would watch sets.
Oh my God! When
and
you did
give
that,
me punchlines and stuff, and it was so cool.
when you did that bit, she's my best friend. I was like, I don't think you understand how funny you are. And she just kept booking TV shows, and it was annoying. It's just like, stop fucking. They're giving you chicken feed. You're a star. Get out there on the. I tell you, wait till her hour comes out.
Yeah.
You're forgetting all about mine. I'm telling you,
You've been
there's
so
nobody has a vibe. Like you're hilarious, and you got this chill, cool vibe that I loved. And then you also know how to unleash, like some comics, when they get loud, then they just stay there too long.
Yeah.
And then it gets annoying. But like you know how to if you know how to use it, you can just blow them back in the seat and then bring them back down again. It's awesome.
Oh,
I love it.
you. It means
I love
a lot.
it.
You've
That's
always
right.
been so good to me, and it really was always much appreciated.
There we go. We
Yeah.
sound like one of us is on our deathbed.
I
right
know.
now.
Yeah, I was going to
You've
say.
always been so nice to me.
What is this announcement you're going to make?
Keep my name alive, Fortune.
I brought him up at the store a couple weeks ago, and I was like, "This is one of the nicest because you're so nice to me, and I mean you're nice to everybody, but I love you so much." I'm like, he's one of the nicest guys that there is, and you come out, you're like, "Do you really have to say that? I'm about to go rant about a bunch of shit, and you're saying I'm the nicest guy."
One of the
ever.
nicest guys. I'm talking about people in wheelchairs.
But it means a lot. It does when you're a newer comic. You're coming up. It's intimidating.
Well,
you
that's
know?
because people did that for me, and I didn't forget it. And I remembered what it meant to me. I had one. Dave Chappelle said something to me in the early 2000s. I held on to that.
Yeah.
In comedy condos and hell rooms for like the next 5 years.
Yeah.
Dave said I was funny.
Right.
Dave
Yeah.
thinks I'm funny.
Dave thinks I'm funny.
Dave
You're
thinks
that
I'm
for
funny.
me,
Yeah,
honestly.
yeah.
I'm not saying that because you're on your deathbed. But you are
Your comedy deathbed.
When I'm on the road and I'm in a green room that's, basically a broom closet,
Ugh.
I'm like, Bill said I was funny. And it does carry you through those weekends sometimes.
Yeah. Well, you're so lost in the beginning. You really don't know whether you have no confirmation of, and there's no like roadmap. So you're like, am I is this going to lead to anything? Am I doing this even remotely right?
Yeah.
And you don't have blinders on, like I'm just going to do what I find my own journey.
No.
You're just totally, you can almost see like an owl.
Yeah.
What is that guy doing? I need to be doing what he's doing. He's like
Yeah.
mapping out his shirt and everything, and what agent he's with, and you're just ping ponging.
Yeah. Yeah, Joe.
How'd he get that?
Is this how you stand?
Yeah, Joe Coy came in here and was like, my street team. Tom and I were like, we need a street team. Why don't we have a street team? You're like, what are we doing wrong?
But what keeps you going was what I started to learn was just like, well, I started before cell phones. You'd get in, you just drive back into Nick's Comedy Stop in Boston, and then you would find the nearest comic and tell them the story.
Yeah.
And then they would be laughing, and then of course try to top your story about like, and, you know, that's nothing. One time I had this happen.
Yeah.
And it just made you feel like, all right, well, I got a story to tell. And then it also made me feel like a comedian.
Yeah.
Because I heard the older guys, you know, telling the stories, and I was just like, I don't have any stories. I went to an open mic, and it didn't go well because it was my fault. There was no any, you know, other elements involved. So then once I started doing, you know, rooms outside and
there's nothing better than hearing about your friends who've suffered. Bill Burr special Paper Tiger streaming on Netflix now. Go and watch it.
All right.
He also has some big tour dates coming up. Go to BillBurr.com. Look at all his dates. He's going all over Cosmopolitan in Vegas. And, of course, listen to his Monday morning podcast, one of the best podcasts out there. Bill Burr, ladies and gentlemen.
Dave was like, y'all want to go bowling? And we were like, ain't no bowling alley open on Christmas this late. Like, what you talking about? And he started laughing. He said, do you realize I'm Dave Chappelle? Hey, y'all, my name is Tiffany Haddish. This is where you guys should applaud and go crazy. I'll wait. Dave, I see why you wear these. They are so comfortable. Look at this room, y'all. Look at this room. Look at the people we got here at this party. Yes. Comedians, actors, and musicians are all here for one man. We're all here because Dave brings people together in a way that maybe no one else in the world can. I met Dave over 20 years ago, and we've been friends ever since. Dave, you have always been my mentor, my big brother, and every time I step on stage, every time, I think of you because I've always want to make you proud because you're the GOAT. You know, you're the greatest. What I love about Dave is his spontaneity. My favorite story with Dave was on Christmas, one year after I finished feeding the homeless at the Laugh Factory. I do that every year because I never forget where I came from. Not the Laugh Factory, homeless. Dave called me to meet him for drinks. And when I arrived, I see him there with Marlon Wayans, and I was like, what are y'all fathers doing here on Christmas? Shouldn't y'all be with y'all kids? And Dave said, who are you, Scrooge? Bitch, have a drink. So we laughed and joked till about 1 a.m. And Dave was like, y'all want to go bowling? And we were like, ain't no bowling alley open on Christmas this late. Like, what you talking about? And he started laughing. He said, do you realize I'm Dave Chappelle? He made a phone call, and then we jumped in his SUV, and then we started going up this hill, and then we pulled up to these huge gates. I mean, huge. I was like, are we finna be bowling at Jurassic Park? We get out the car, go to the door, and guess who opened the door? Guess who opened it? I said gas, bitch, gas. Eddie Murphy opened the door. We was at Eddie Murphy's house. We was at Eddie Murphy's house, and I was like, and Dave was like, calm your ass down before we get kicked out. And I was like, oh my God, I can't believe this. Axel Foley got a bowling alley. Man, we must have talked and laughed and shared stories for hours. And that's the kind of guy Dave is, just spontaneous. And he's magical, and he's a horrible bowler.
I forget I'm famous sometimes. Like, dudes pull next to me, like, I'm like, what's up, dude? You old boy. Oh, yeah, thanks. So I don't be knowing, man. My friends tell me I need to act more famous. All my friends got money, super famous. All the comedians around, Dave Chappelle, great comic. I've been around Chris Rock. They're like, Kevin Hart was my roommate before. Yes. Every morning he wake up like, I'm gonna make it. I'm like, nigga, go make that breakfast. Get these little ass Air Force Ones out of here. Whose shoes this little? He used to hate the little shoe joke. Get these little shoes out of here. One time he got in the car and I had his shoes hanging from the rearview mirror. The baby shoes, like, Kevin, look at your shoes. Get them down. Look at my, I don't know, man. Trying to figure out my famous, who am I? Because I know I've been in shit, but people keep asking, what you gonna be in next? Motherfucker, this. I don't know what's next. Stop asking actors what's next. I don't know how to been in some shit. I know I've been in some shit because I Googled me. You know, go to hell, Google. I Googled me, and they said I was 48 years old. Who the fuck changed my age? That's the worst thing you could do to somebody in Hollywood is make them older. I didn't even know what happened until I went to an audition and Morgan Freeman was there. I'm like, we here for the same part. Nigga. Stop trying to make me an uncle when I'm still a cousin. But I've been in some shit. I've traveled. I've done things. I was in Africa. I got booked in Africa, Nigeria. They paid me so much money, I thought they purchased me. I told my baby, I was like, Daddy might not be back. They gave me racks, motherfucker. I just imagine me being there and shit in some cage, like, come look at my new D-Ray. There's my lion, there's my zebra, and there's my D-Ray. D-Ray, tell a joke. Come on, tell a joke. Here's a matter. We have enough freedom to tell a joke. But I've done shit. I'm happy about the little movies I did, though. I'm happy. A lot of movies. I did 30 fucking movies. Now, take it, I was only in them bitches about 3 minutes, but I've been in them bitches. Collectively, it's a whole film. Fuck all y'all. How about that shit right now? I was in The Fall. I was in a horror movie. How about that? No, not only that, I'm Black History. I was a black dude in a horror movie, and I survived, mama. Now what? And I was on a boat. Niggas don't get on boats. Niggas get on cruise ships, niggas get on motherfucking yachts for the video, front the hell off. But niggas don't get on boats. The only time niggas get on boats is like this. Man, I'm broke as hell. Nigga, I'm in the same boat. That's the only time. Niggas getting boats on Black History.
I remember Dave and I went to McDonald's between shows and we talked about comedy and his future, what his future plans were gonna be. And I said, come to New York City. And after he graduated high school, he did. And he came to New York and we worked at the same comedy club, the Boston Comedy Club. And, all right. I know it's a little confusing. It was a club in New York City called the Boston Comedy Club. Look, I don't come up with the names, cokeheads do. But in New York, Dave was immediately beloved by the stand-up comedy community. And I remember he got a part in the Mel Brooks movie, Robin Hood Men in Tights, and we were all like, Dave made it!
Whoa. Who's the mayor? Who's the mayor? Go.
He came back from LA and he got right on stage to talk about his trip out west and how he finally went to Compton after hearing so much about it. And he was like stunned to see that people there had yards. All the lore of Compton, and people were like mowing their lawns. And of course they were. But there was just like something about that tiny little detail. And that's what he does. He lets himself be surprised by what he learns. And then he takes us with him as he, looks at it from every angle, angles that most of us don't even see.
Isn't it weird how there's a disease that just starts in 1980 and it doesn't kill anybody but niggas, fags, and junkies? Isn't that a fucking amazing coincidence that this disease hates everybody that old white people hate? I think either God is white or the government hid that shit in disco balls.
He's always thinking about stuff. He's examining everything. And he really, he gets in his own world.
Now, this is when I knew I was in a bad neighborhood. You only see this in the worst neighborhoods. Remember, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. I look out the window. It was a fucking baby standing on a corner. Look at this. And the baby didn't even look scared. He was just standing there. I mean, it made me sad. It made me sad, really. Because I wanted to help the baby. I was like, I don't trust you either. I'm sorry. Click. Click.
I remember we were together in Vancouver, and he came over to smoke a joint. And that's exactly what he did. He came over, and he smoked a joint. The whole thing. By himself. While pontificating about everything that's wrong with the world. I'll tell you what's wrong with the world. A lack of sharing. I think it's puff, puff, pass, not puff, 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 puff. Dave, can you believe this? You're getting the freaking Mark Twain Prize. You deserve it. It's the right thing. It's actually perfect that you're getting the Mark Twain Prize because you both love using the N-word in your masterpieces.
Why is it that I can say the word nigger with impunity, but I can't say the word faggot? And she said, because, David, you are not gay. I said, well, Renee, I'm not a nigger either.